Hello, everybody. I'm back in my bed because I am. I just am. I don't know why. I'm just am. I'm feeling a little loopy, kind of a little bit. I just started school again. And it has been not the best, but not the greatest. But not the worst. I've had worse, and this isn't the worst. It's just school. Am I right? um, Sorry, I was like chowing down on the stuff that my mom bought from Vietnam, and fuck, man, makes me miss Vietnam so fucking bad. Um, oh shit, am I sitting on a corn kernel? Oh shit. Yeah, I eat in bed. So what? So what? Anyways, so yeah, I went back to school. I started like what after President's Day. And I also started my job around that time, so I've been focusing on a lot of things, and it's just been a bit of a whirlwind. And then I have to commute, and as someone who doesn't like driving, commuting is like putting me through like a personal hell that I personally signed up for, which is I know I signed up for it. I know it's like something that I could have easily amended by living on campus, but for me, it's like I don't want to spend that fucking much on like on campus. Like last year, you guys know I lived in that like apartment or whatever the fuck, and it was good, but I wouldn't pay for it again. Honestly, like living on campus seems like such a scam to me, and like, but like at the same time, it's like I'm bitching about driving to school, so I'm like I don't know, I don't know. Like I like freedom of like living by myself and stuff like that, but like at the same time, my parents don't annoy me. They don't really care what I do unless I'm like out doing fuck shit. But like I'm never doing that because I'm not that type of person. Um, and so yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't like commuting one bit, but at least I only have to do it for like a couple more months. Just the thought of that so tiring. And it's not that like I'm a bad driver. I don't think I'm a bad driver. I've never gotten into like a full accident or whatever the fuck. When I say full, I mean like full on like head crash or whatever the fuck. I never got like a ticket. I've never gotten into trouble with like the law and whatever the fuck. But like I just don't like being on the road. I hate driving. I think people are dumb drivers. Like I'm not like I think I'm a dumb driver, but at least I can admit it. But most of the time, people on the roads are just dumb and they don't believe that they're dumb. Um, but yeah, whatever the fuck. And so I've been commuting, and it's been whatever. The only benefit from this semester is that my classes start in like noon, so I get to sleep in a little bit more. But that's still not an improvement because I almost went late to class today. So yeah, there's that. But I'll tell you what. There's one thing that I did miss from school, and that was I do like to do a little bit of gossiping. I'm not gonna sit here and lie that I don't because I do. I really do like talking shit. And that's one of the things that like I will fully admit with my chest because it's not something I should be embarrassed about. Everybody gossips, everybody talks shit. It's like if you don't say you don't talk shit, if you say you don't talk shit, you're a fucking liar, okay? Like everybody talks shit. Everybody has like something within them that makes them talk shit. Like regardless if it's bad, good, whatever the fuck, like you're talking shit, you're talking shit. Like it does not matter at the end of the day, you know? And for me, it's like I think it's entertaining. Like if it doesn't hurt them, if it's like mild, like if someone was like came out to me and was like, "Hey yo, did you know that person like fucking beat up someone and shanked them in the fucking pussy or some shit like that?" I'll be like, "Okay, don't tell me that. Like I don't need to know that." But if it's like really menial shit, I'm like, "Okay, give me all of it because I'm intrigued. I'm really intrigued." And so as I came back to campus, there has been some drama occurring. Well, not drama, but some stuff occurring within like my classes and stuff. And I think you guys probably know this about me, but like I'm someone who likes to play both sides. You guys already know I'm a liar at heart. And the thing about me is that like I said, I'm not like a liar. Like I don't lie about like I don't know, being Asian. I don't lie about like not having a pussy. I don't lie about, my fucking skin color cuz that's I don't know, it's out there. But like I don't lie about these major things, but what I do lie about is like really menial shit that I think I can get away with and I most likely will get away with, okay? And so I am someone who likes to play both sides, and so I always get information out of people, and I don't mean to get information out of people. I just end up with information. Like I feel like there's some people in the world that like just receive information without being prompted, and I'm one of those people, and I don't know how that occurs. I don't know why, but at the same time, I'm a nosy bitch, so I'm not complaining because I am truly, truly, truly a nosy bitch, and so I don't want to give out names because like it doesn't matter at the end of the day, but like we were doing this project for this like company, this really big company in one of my classes, and it was last semester. And then I was like talking to the girl that was in my class from last semester, and we were like just talking about like, because like each of us were in a group. It was a group project thing, and then so there was like what 7 groups, and then we presented our videos to the company, and they ended up choosing like whatever the fuck. They only had to like, they only wanted one, so one of the groups won. And the group that won was this group that obviously had someone who was very, very experienced in the field. And it like the main point of having like a group project is that it's a group effort, right? I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, like he didn't deserve a whatever the fuck, right? But like I feel like if you're in a group project, you should at least consider your group members, you know, because this is a dick move to just take over a fucking project and just pretend like their opinions don't matter. And so when this group presented their project, I was like, oh wow, the video is fucking amazing. And I know someone in that group, like outside of like the guy that made the entire video, I know someone in the group, and like they were like, oh yeah, like we only did some research and like we made a second video, but like because like the guy that was editing our video, he wasn't communicating to us. Like we literally had to like fight to communicate with him because he never showed up to class, this and that. And like he was like reassuring us by like the time, like because we had the entire semester to work on this. Like our professor literally introduced the project on like as soon as we got into class, first day of class. She was like, you're gonna be working with this big fucking company and you guys gonna be in groups, and she separated us into groups like right away. And so we had the entire semester to work on it. She gave us class time, she gave us so much fucking time to collaborate with our teams. And so like yeah, these team members, like yeah, we really didn't do anything. Like they did do things. I saw them like research, and like the person I know in that group was like, yeah, I was doing some research, and we also made a second video. And then the guy that was their main editor edited like this fucking video or whatever the fuck. Like he's like, I don't know what the fuck he is. He's apparently like some like, I don't want to like diss on this motherfucker because I don't give a rat's ass about him. I just think it's like kind of funny. I think it's a little bit funny, right? And so yeah, so this guy, he's like a professional video editor, and then he threw the videos together in like a day or like a week or whatever. And then he like, there was a due date where like all of us had to get our videos in because our professor had to review them or something. And then so apparently this is from allegations, right? So apparently from this one source I was talking to, she was like, oh yeah, he literally like emailed the professor and was like, can I get an extension on this and what, despite us having that ample amount of time to work on it. And she believes, the person that told me in this information, was that she believes that this was unfair because all of us were required to submit something at a due time, whereas he had ample time to work on it despite, you know, having that ample time beforehand to do so. So she believed that it was unfair. But honest to God, I don't give a rat's ass. I don't know why I don't give a rat's ass. I just don't give a rat's ass. Like I should give a rat's ass, but I don't. Okay. And so yeah, at least like I was gonna say something after that. Oh yeah. So yeah. And like, you know what? I'll give him props, right? Because I am also someone who kind of works, not really, but like there are times where I pull something out at the last minute. And that is something I feel like a lot of graphic designers and a lot of like, you know, probably people in our generation do, just like pull out like fucking shit out of our butts by the time, like whatever the fuck, right? And so I can give him props for that. But at the same time, it's like, I think it's the principle of it that people are mad about. But what the person who told me didn't know was that I was talking to someone else in the class that was friends with the guy that edited that video. But like, I'm not friends with the guy that edited the video. I'm friends with someone in the group, but not that guy. Okay, so that guy, like that guy's like friends with another source. Okay, so girl 1 is a girl that does not like this dude, okay? And then girl 2 is the girl that is friends with this dude and is relatively on good terms with him. And so I was like texting her over break because, you know, that's what we do. I was texting her over break, and she was like filling me in about like how this company was like doing us dirty or whatever the fuck. I'm not even getting into that because it's, I don't know, like it's they kind of did us wrong, but at the same time it's like, who gives a rat's ass? Anyways, but then yeah, she was like, oh, I feel bad for the group that won, especially the guy that edited the video. Let's call the guy Joshua. Okay, so she was whatchamacallit, she was sad for Joshua because he had spent a lot of time editing this video. And apparently he does this professionally. I'm not sure about this like this piece of statement, but apparently he does this professionally, and apparently a job like this would be compensated up to at least 1,500. But the company that we were working with only paid us $25 in gift cards. And so she was angry on his behalf, which I understand, because since they're a little bit closer, not closer, but like more familiar with each other, I suppose she has that like perspective, because it's not like she's talking to girl one where they're kind of communicating, because both of them are not really like that, you know. And so yeah, so girl two was telling me about that, and I was like, oh, that's tea for real, that's some tea. And then this was okay, so this was during break, and then girl one was telling me about, you know, the stuff about that dude, and about the stuff that and then she was telling me about opinions, and it seems that this is the mass opinion within my class, because I also know a couple of other people within this class, and it seems like they also have the same consensus, and it seems like girl two's opinion is kind of the most unpopular one, not really hot right now, because nobody's really feeling sympathy for Joshua right now, because they believe that he did not comply with what the requirements were. He did not comply with what we had to comply with, and so they do not agree with that. And for me, I don't give a rat's ass. Honest to God, like, it's done and over with. I'm not gonna hold on to a fucking grudge. Honest to God, like, if he, like, so what? So what if he fucking pushed the rules? Like, what does it matter to me? I mean, I know that my group put out good work, and I know the other groups. I mean, I do kind of feel bad for the other groups, because I can tell that they put a lot of work, and they did have a lot of passion. And I do think there was one video that I think should have won above that, because it definitely followed the regulations. Because with this company, right, we were not allowed to use any outside footage. We only were supposed to use footage within the company that they provided us, for mainly like legal reasons, I suppose, because what if you have like an image of someone who didn't sign a release form or whatever the fuck. So they gave us footage, basically. And so this guy Joshua, he used footage that was not provided to us, and he used a lot of like things that were not supposed to be in the video, basically, but it ended up getting like picked. And so I do understand that reasoning of why girl one believes that this, like, he basically got away with it because he was a lot more flashier and a lot more experienced with his editing, but he wasn't like but he didn't like comply to what we had to comply with, basically. And so for me, it's kind of like when I was like talking to her, I'm like, oh, this is some shit. Like, this is interesting, because like beforehand, I was kind of on girl two's side, because I heard that information from her first. She told me that like she felt bad for Joshua, and I was like, oh shit, like maybe I feel bad too, because I haven't gotten like girl one side. And then I talked to girl one, and she was like, oh no, girl, like, no, like, we do not rock with that. And I'm like, okay. Okay. And then girl one was telling me about like how this guy is like not a good person. Like, he got super defensive during critique. Like, he was getting mad at people for like criticizing his work. He's like apparently he was getting like super mad about like her like telling him that his timing was off, like the timing of like the videos to the music. He was getting mad at that, and she was like, girl, like, it's called a critique for a reason. Like, during like this entire process, and if you guys know anything about art or anything about design, you will go through multiple rounds of critique. It's literally the most normal thing on earth. And if you receive a piece of criticism, it doesn't mean that the person wants to pull down your pants and stick a finger up your butt, okay? It literally does not mean jack shit, other than just, it is what it is, right? They're giving you this because they believe that you could do better and create a better project at the end of the day, okay? They're not gonna fucking say your work looks like shit because they fucking hate you. Maybe they do, but for me, when it comes to critiques, I'm like, okay, like, I like you as a person or whatever. I want you to be better as a designer, and so I'm going to give you my opinion. If you want like, during critique, you obviously are here for my opinion, and so I'm going to give you my opinion. And if you don't want that opinion, then don't take my opinion. That's what critique is all about. You can pick and choose whatever the fuck, right? But don't become defensive, and don't like get mad at people for like looking at your work and like criticizing it, because that's not something you do during critique. You don't get defensive. You don't get mad. You just, you know, you can obviously defend your choices. You can be like, oh, like, I did this and this because I believe that it shows this and this, or whatever the fuck, right? There's like some points in your career where you have to understand, like, this is what I'm good at and this is what I'm bad at, and there's some things I can improve on, right? But for some reason, this guy, he was getting like defensive. Okay, I'll be honest with you, I was not here during that critique because I was like, I don't want to show up to class. Like, I'm so tired of these motherfuckers, and I don't want to show up to class. But this is alleged information from her, so take it or leave it. I don't know. But yeah, girl one was like, yeah, like, Joshua was getting super fucking defensive, and he was getting so fucking mad. And then like the video literally was like only 15 seconds long or something like really short. Like, our video was supposed to be like 2 minutes long, and he was like, no, I'll get it done, despite only having like a couple of days left to work on it. And yeah. And then when I heard that, I was like, oh, that's crazy for real. And then she's like, guess what? He's also really famous on Instagram. And I was like, no way. And she pulled up a video, and I was like, I saw that on my fucking reels, and I told her, I was like, I cringed to that because I was like, this is the cringiest shit I've ever seen. And I didn't even like, I knew of this motherfucker before that, but like I just don't connect like people's faces to like their online personas, I guess. But like once she showed me the video, I was like, holy shit, that's him. That's the guy that sat next to me during class. And so she was like, yeah, he's like literally like not famous. I wouldn't give him that, but he's somewhat viral within the Minnesota community or whatever. He's kind of cringy. And I'm not saying that because I hate him. It just as is, you know. Like if you go to this comment section, I'm not gonna tell you who it is. Don't go searching for him because it's not that serious. Okay, I'm telling you this. I'm telling you guys this because this is some shit that I want to tell you guys. But this is not like take it to the outside curb type of information. This is like because I trust you guys and because we're on a FaceTime call. Okay, so shut the fuck up and just listen and don't do anything about this because I'm literally gonna rip your fucking eyebrows off if you even like decide to go harass anybody in the story. And I know you guys won't because you guys don't even know who the fuck these people are. I'm just saying, okay, don't fucking say this because this is just allegations, conjecture, gossip. It's not real shit, okay? So I'm just telling you guys this because I'm sick in my head, okay? Anyways, back to the story. So yeah, this guy has like a let's just say music account, and he does some promotions for his music, and one of the promotions was really really cringy. He got a lot of views on it and people were roasting him, and even in his comment section he's being very defensive and to like the most menial fucking criticisms. He was going off in paragraphs, and it just shows me, to me personally, this shows me that outside of like being like, you know, a creative or whatever the fuck, he's also a very kind of, perhaps, I don't want to say insecure, but it does give me insecure because I'm not immune to hate comments, okay? I've grown up ugly, I've grown up fat, I've grown up fucking chinky, I've grown up whatever the fuck, okay? I've grown up as an immigrant, and I've grown up not, like, whatever the fuck, right? So it's not like I'm gonna sit here and be like, oh, I have thick skin. No, like, I can cry from shit, okay? I'm not some heartless motherfucker that goes around, like, peeing on the streets without any remorse, okay? I have empathy or whatever the fuck you guys call it. But the thing is, right, I understand how to pick my battles, okay? There are some times when you guys comment some weird fucking shit on my page and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? And then I leave it as is because it's like, why the fuck should I waste my breath commenting back to someone who's probably like forgotten about me by now, okay? So that's how I like perceive hate comments. Like if someone doesn't like me, it's like, it's not likely they're gonna think about me every single day to the point where they're gonna go on my page and fucking harass me. It's never that serious. Like every time someone leaves a hate comment, I'm like, that's funny, move on, okay? Move on with my day, live, laugh, love. But there's never a day in my life where I'm like sitting down and just fuming at a comment to the point where I'm like, I have to defend myself to a degree where it's like a whole paragraph and then only to get a response of, I'm not reading all that, okay? That not only is that humiliating, that is just stupid and horrendous to even think about, okay? Like I have too much dignity to fight with an internet comment. I'm so sorry. Like all of you being like, oh my god, like what the fuck did you do with eyebrows? Or like, oh my god, like this bitch talks like she has an aneurysm. Live, laugh, love, motherfucker. If you don't like it, bounce. I don't fucking know what to say. Like, I make shit for me. I don't know. Anyways. But yeah, so he was fucking going off of these people in the comments, and people would get like obviously dogging on him because it's very obvious that he takes his shit very seriously and very to heart when most of the comments are like just kind of joking. They're just like, oh, sending hate from Minnesota. And it's like, okay, why are you getting mad at that? Like, it's a fucking joke, bro. Learn to take a joke. Like, I know that like obviously like hate comments will get to you and like in like constant bullying, but at the same time you put yourself out there to receive this type of stuff. You know, you're not going to receive all love. You're going to receive some dookie in there, you know? It's kind of like get like a bag of grapes. Like not every grape is going to be nice, crispy and juicy, okay? Some grapes are going to be mushy and just not really good. So you just throw them bitches out. And that's all you gotta do. Like, you don't have to, like, be like, oh, I gotta go back to Costco and fight them for my refund because I got a mushy grape. Like, who gives a rat's ass? You're putting a big stink over something so minuscule. Just focus on your success. Like, it's obvious that he has something going. He has, like, a decent amount of followers. And I mean, his music is not my type of music, but he's doing what he loves. So I'm like, I don't understand why you're, like, being so defensive about your art form. Just do what you want to do. And it's not a bad thing to like put out cringy music. Like if you make cringy music, just put it out there, you know? Like there's so many people out there that have like no talent and that still have like a fucking fan base because they take things in stride. They're able to take criticisms and make it funny. They're able to take punches and make it, I don't know, not hurt and shit like that. And so for me personally, as someone who, I mean, I'm not popular by any means, but like I do get people perceiving me that's outside of my friend group, okay? And it's like I don't think I would ever like have the gall, not the gall, but like I don't think I would ever like risk my whatchamacallit, like I don't think I would ever risk my dignity, put that shit out on the line for an internet hate comment. Honestly, God, like I don't think I would ever do that because one, wasting my time, two, wasting my time, three, wasting my time. Like, it's like yapping into the fucking void. It's like yapping into the fucking void. Like, what is that gonna do for you? And so when I was like scrolling through the comments and stuff, I was like, bro, like, you need to chill the fuck out. Like, you need to chill the fuck out. Like, to the guy, Joshua, I'm like, you need to chill the fuck out because it is never, 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 never that serious. But like, it was just. I don't know. I got sad after a while, like reading all the comments like he was responding to because I felt bad for him. I was like, why am I feeling bad for you when you are purposely putting yourself out there to get dunked on? Like, this stuff is like almost cringe bait to a degree where it's like, I want to feel as if I want to believe that you are putting this out genuinely, but there's something within his content that I believe is ironic. And I don't know if it's like because I believe that everything in life is a joke or if I just believe that everything in life is just not worth, giving a shit about. I don't know. But like, there's something about his content that I truly, truly believe that is not very serious. But at the same time, he's taking it so seriously. So I don't know if it's a ruse or whatever the fuck. But like, based on like my interactions with him, I don't think it's a joke. I don't think it's a joke. I'll be so freaking dead ass. And like, you guys probably have also witnessed this within like the day and age of like fucking Instagram influencers and whatever the fuck, right? If you guys have someone who's like somewhat social media famous in your life or whatever the fuck, like I bet that you probably have witnessed this within yourself, not within yourself, within this person. I'm trying to look for my chapstick. I can't find it. It's winter in Minnesota, man. It was negative today and I am so dry. Anyways, but like, once people get like an ego, I think it's an ego thing. I think once people get an ego of like where they hear like, oh, you're such a good person, you're such a good person, whatever the fuck, they begin to like get this like big inflated head where it's like, oh my god, like I'm the shit. I'm not even the fart, bro. I am the shit. And it's like, okay, come on. And this is the thing that girl one was talking to me about. She was like, I believe that this is in her words, okay? She was like, I believe that Joshua needs to be humbled because this is her words again. She says, I think that he's been able to get away with all of his shenanigans for this long and he has not been humbled within his lifetime because he's constantly being rewarded for his shenanigans, okay? I don't want to say anything other than shenanigans because it might be libelous, slanderous, I don't know. And so I was thinking about that. I'm like, wow, like I feel like that's a lot of online celebrities, don't you think? A lot of online celebrities tend to get away with their shenanigans because a lot of people don't really think too deeply into it. And at the same time, I feel like I'm one of those people who don't think too deeply into it because it's like a chip off my shoulder. I don't have Joshua in any of my classes. I don't know Kanye West. I don't know Kim Kardashian. I don't know all those motherfucker people. So like, it's like, why does it matter to me? But at the same time, it probably does because it probably does affect the way society works and culture or whatever the fuck. But like at the same time, like I don't think I have enough like brain power to like muster up the willpower to give a fuck. I don't really give a fuck. And so when she was telling me this, I was like, it wasn't like I was disinterested, but like I just like hearing both sides because as I said before, I think I don't want to say I'm a devil's advocate because that sounds cringy as fuck, but I do like playing both sides because I just like being nosy. I like listening to both sides, and there's this one thing about me that like I'm pretty sure my friends know about me, but like I like to keep information to myself until I hear the full story. So basically, you guys probably do this too. So I like to listen to one side of the story. I'll listen to them and be like, oh yeah, whatever the fuck, right? I'll be like, oh, I'm listening to you and I'm taking this information and I am listening. And so I'll keep taking that information and then I'll talk to the other side of the party and I won't inform the other side of the party that I have chatted to the other side of the party. And so I'll just I'll be like, oh, so how's so-and-so doing? Or like, oh, how are you and whatever the fuck doing? And they'll tell me their side of the story, and I'll be like, oh, wow, that's funny, haha. And then I don't really do anything with that information. I'll be honest. I'll be like, oh, wow, that's crazy. I'll hear both sides. Most of it's contradictory. And I just live, laugh, love, for real. Because it's not like I'm like spreading this information around. Well, I kind of am. But it's not like I'm like spreading this information around. Like I'm not telling side one and side two to like other people. It's just like I have this wealth of information now. And then it's not like I'm even going to make a snap judgment. It's not like I'm going to make a judgment because I'm not someone who really makes like a snap decision like that or like makes like a really detrimental decision. I'm just kind of like, oh wow, like that's crazy. But it's not like my drama. It's like their business. They're just telling me the business. But like at the end of the day, it's like for those two to like figure it out. It's not like for me to like give my opinion, right? And like one of my friends even noticed that she was like, oh, like I like how you pretended like you didn't know about this and that, even though I fucking told you the other day. I was like, well, I just wanted to know both sides of the stories. Like I heard it from you, but I want to hear from the mouth itself. And so that's just how I am as a person. I feel like that's not really manipulative. I mean, it's not, like I said, I'm not like relaying this information back and forth to the other person. It's just I take in the information and I keep it within me because it's like it brings me more peace to know that I'm like taking in both sides. But like I'm not like being like a fucking like traitor and going to that like friend A and be like, "Hey, yo, I heard what friend B and listen to that," right? Because that's number one, that's manipulative, and two, that's weird. And so like you don't betray your friend's trust like that, but at the same time it's good to like be open-minded and be like, like fair, I don't know. Because like a lot of times people like will tell the stories in their perspective and how they are being treated and how they feel, and then another person will kind of tell it because like it's like you always kind of get the perspective of the person you're talking about, and they're more sympathetic to themselves, whereas the other person will be sympathetic to themselves and be a dick to them. I mean, it depends on the situation, honestly, but like a lot of times it's more like that person centered, so you always want to like you want to scope it out for real. And so that brings me on to the other thing. I was talking to girl one again. We're in the same conversation. We just went on to another conversation, and there's this guy. Okay, this is some tea. Okay, within the graphic designs, and this is some tea. Okay, so there's this guy. Let's name him Will. Okay, so Will is like the hot dog. No, wait, I don't even know. Like he's like the cream of the wheat in the graphic design community, because he's like one of like he's like within the graphic design community it's mostly gays, girls, and that's about it. Okay, and so I personally I like that demographic. Me personally, I love that demographic, but there's some sausages walking amongst us, folks. Okay, and so Will is a sausage fest. And what I mean by that is that he is really, really, really sought after within the graphic design community, within the straight women. And so maybe the gay guys too. I don't know. I don't want to speak for them, but like for the women, I speak to mostly the women, and the women have their opinions on Will. And their opinions on Will are very favorable. Very, very favorable. And so, and I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, Will's fucking ugly. Will's this and that. Like, he's kind of fine. Okay? He's kind of fine. I get it. Like, I get it. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, I'm not like other girls. I don't think he's attractive. I think he's, no. I'm not gonna deny what God gave him. I'm gonna tell you straight up. He is kind of a fine motherfucker. Okay? But I don't talk to him, okay? Like, I've had so many classes with him, I don't talk to him because he's not really the person that I would ever want to talk to. Because I've overheard some of his conversations with people, and I'm just like, I don't think we would mesh. Like, sometimes you don't even need to talk to the person. You can just kind of suss out the energy and be like, wow, this is not what I expected you to be like, and I don't want to talk to you, okay? And so that's how I feel about him. I think he's a well-looking dude, but like, just not my cup of tea, okay? Just not someone I would want to interact with, because I feel like I would be so uncomfortable. Anyways, and so girl one has also had a couple calls, because like within the graphic design community, very small community, right? Very small within our like, I don't know, year. I don't even know if I consider like a senior or a junior, but whatever the fuck. So like within our year, we have a fairly small class, and so we end up like in the same classes sometimes. And this girl and me, so this girl and I, we've had like similar classes with him, same classes with him, and I always presumed that this girl was kind of, rocking with him. I don't know, I thought she was kind of friends with him. I thought that they were kind of on good terms, because I don't know, they communicate pretty well from what I've experienced. And so it was shocking. It was shocking for her to bring up Will, because she was like, did you know that Will is not a good, she's like, first of all, she was like, we were talking about, what's his name? What did I give him? We were talking about Joshua. She's like, oh, don't even make me talk about Will. Cause like that motherfucker, I was like, ooh. I'm like, wait, what do you mean Will? What do you, because how did he get brought into the situation? So, and then she started talking about Will, and apparently he's like, I don't know. I've heard some things about Will even outside of this conversation, okay? Like, I'm gonna give you guys the deets, okay? There's this one day I was like staying into like the letterpress studio, and I was overhearing another class, and I think they're like like at least 1 year older than me, because I don't think I've ever had any of them in my classes. And so they were talking about Will, and you know, me being a little fucking nosy bitch, I was just drawing on the whiteboard or whatever. I was just minding my own business, but I didn't have my headphones in, and they were talking loud as shit. So they were prompting me to listen. Okay, they were prompting me to listen, and I did so. And so they were like, oh yeah, I heard Will is this is them, right? Allegedly, they were like, oh, I heard Will is a super problematic guy, and I was like, oh wow. Oh wow. And then I was in the letterpress studio with another friend who had a crush on Will. And so both me and her were like, oh, but we didn't say nothing because you know what, we mind our own businesses, okay? But we were kind of nosy. They were like, oh yeah, the group of people that were talking within this letterpress studio, right? We're like, oh yeah, I heard he's a really problematic guy. Like he just runs around with like these white boys and it says the most outrageous shit. And we were like, me and my friend were like, wow, I did not know that about Will, because before that, I was like, I don't give a rat's ass about Will. Honest to God, I do not give a rat's ass. Well, like I said, I think he's cute, but I don't really care about him that often. But like, after hearing that, I was like, what the fuck? But the thing is, the kicker is, they didn't even finish the conversation. They did not even finish the conversation. All they said was that he was a problematic guy. Gave these really like boring not boring, but like really kind of like undetailed accounts. And I'm like, well, if you're gonna call him problematic, because that's what they called him, problematic. If you're gonna call someone problematic, you have to give the reasons why they're problematic instead of just being like, oh, he did this and this. No, you have to go into detail, because problematic is a big fucking term, okay? And so they didn't even finish the fucking conversation. So me and my friend were left in the letterpress studio being like, what the fuck? We were literally reeling from it. We were like, I was like, did you hear that? And then she was like, yeah, I did hear that. And I was like, did you know about that? She's like, no, like this is the first time I've ever heard of it. And she's like, I kind of wish it went like a little bit deeper, because I'm kind of nosy now. And I was like, oh my God, me too. I was like, what the fuck is that? Anyways, and then I think, yeah, and so ever since then, I've kind of been like keeping an eye out, like Selena, because I was like, what the actual fuck? And so and then after that, I remembered that I had him in one of my classes, and I was like, dude, I was already like, what, like 3 months into the semester, and I realized that he was in one of my classes. Like, I was like, what the fuck? And then so I started noticing him more, because I'm like analyzing his movements. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, what did you do for people to think you're problematic? Well, the thing is, like, he doesn't talk to me, so I don't know, like, what he does, because it's like, if you don't talk to somebody, you don't know how they are. And so when girl one was telling me about Will, I was like, oh wow. She was like, yeah, he's like in a band, and like the only thing he like talks about is his band, his tattoos, and there's something else I forgot, but those are the only things I remember. There's 3 things he was talking about: bands, tattoos, and something else. I can't remember what the fuck it is. I'm so sorry. But and then she was telling me about how one time she was in like this girl, right? Allegedly, girl one. Allegedly, she was in like the study rooms or whatever the fuck, and it was like, it's like a vending machine area where there's like chairs and stuff, and it's like a really cool like lounge area. And so she was just chilling in there, and it's like usually a place where you just kind of mind your own business and just do your work, okay? But this time around, she was in the room just minding her own business, fucking eating lunch or whatever the fuck, and Will was with this girl that, okay, this is some tea, okay? Will was with this girl that I talked to. The girl that I told you before, girl 2, the one that I was in the DMs with, talking about talking about Joshua, that was the girl that was with Will. Oh my gosh. When she told me that, she was like, do you know that girl in our like whatever class? And I'm like, oh yeah, I DM'd with her before. And she was like, yes, that is the girl. I was like, she was with Will? Hey girl, what are you doing in this story? And so I was like, and so girl 1 was telling me about how girl 2 and Will were like, I don't want to say like, you know, but they were like apparently like not feeling each other up in the lounge room. But I'm not going to say they were doing like a foreplay in the lounge room, but from what she was describing, I can kind of visualize it within my head, okay? So girl 2 was like doing a project about tattoos or whatever, and this guy has a lot of tattoos, and so she was like measuring him. I don't really know what that means. I might have to ask girl 2 just to be like, hey yo girl, I heard you did a project on tattoos. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that, but if I were to, then I won't. But anyways, but then she was like, oh yeah, like I she was like, what? Wait, where am I? Oh yeah, so girl two was like, oh yeah, like she was like measuring him. Not girl two, girl one. My bad. Girl one was the one that's like minding her own business. Girl two was apparently measuring Will, and was like measuring like his tattoos, and like she was like tracing his tattoos and was like all up on him. And I was like, for me, girl two is like a homie. Okay, she's a homie. She's like, for me, she's always been chill. She's always been cordial. She's always been cool. And so hearing this information from girl one, who's also someone I think is very cool, very chill, and very kind of laid back and very cool, I was like, wow. She was like, yeah, she was like tracing his tattoos, and it seems like they were getting like really close, and she was like giggling at all of his jokes, and it seemed like a grand old time. And girl one was like, yeah, I was like trying to fucking mind my own business, but like they were right fucking in front of me in the lounge where we're supposed to be studying. Like they couldn't do this anywhere else more private. They decided to do it in the student lounge area where people come and get their vending snacks. Instead, that girl was getting something else. I don't know what it was, but it's definitely not snacks. Anyways, and so when I heard that story, and you know what? I also know some other tea too. Okay, so you know how I was in that letterpress studio with that girl, right? And that girl had a crush on Will. Well, apparently they were like kind of chopping it up during classes, right? They were chopping it up a little bit, and so you know they were because like my friend, the friend that was in the letterpress studio, she is a very very charismatic person, very outgoing, very friendly, and so it's not a surprise to me that she got to know Will because Will is like an antisocial motherfucker, right? Whatever. And so it wasn't a surprise to me that she like was chopping it up with him, and like beginning of the semester she came up to me and was like, hey yo, like you remember Will from like our whatever class? I was like, oh yeah. And she's like he's kind of fun, and I was like, yeah. And she was like, I think I kind of she was like, I think I have a thing for him. And then my other friend was like, yeah, like she was telling me. And then my other friend, I was with that friend, was like, yeah, she was telling me how fun he is and how they were chopping up during class. I was like, oh wow. And then a couple of weeks passed, and then I like to kind of bug my friends. So I'm like, ayo, friend from Letterpress Studio, how's that thing going with you and Will? Like, you got to get his number or something? I don't know. I don't know what the fuck I said. But then she was like, she kind of pulled a face and was like, no, girl. I was like, no, girl. What's going on? I'm like, I was scared that she like asked him out, and then he was like, no, because that'd be so fucking awkward. But no, she was like, no. I was talking to him, and he said he like brought up his girlfriend, and I was like, oh, wow. I'm like, oh, I didn't know he had a girlfriend. She's like, I didn't know either. I was like, oh shit. And she's like, yeah. So I backed off of that, and we haven't talked since. And I was like, okay, I respect that because it's like, that's a girl. That man has a girl. And so I respect my friend for doing that. That's good shit. And so I was like, oh wow. And then as the girl one that was telling me that story about girl two and Will, I was like, in the back of my mind, I was like, doesn't he have a girl? And then I even brought that up. I asked girl one, I'm like, did you know that he has a girl? And then she was like, no, I didn't know that. And I was like, and I'm like, now I'm wondering, does girl two know that he has a girl? Or was he just saying that to get my friend from the letterpress studio off of his back? I don't know. That's just conjecture. That's just some conjecture. I'm not sure if this is real life or not, because isn't that fucking insane, dude? Isn't that fucking insane? Because it is to me, okay? All of like these lines are connecting right now. They're all connecting. It all started at the beginning of the year, and now it's all connecting. And when I had that conversation with girl one, I was like, wow, this is so fruitful to me. This is so intriguing. This is so eye-opening. I am deeply, deeply immersed. And so yeah, after that, I can't look at any of these people the same. The only person that came out and unscathed is girl one. Okay, girl one came out unscathed just because I haven't heard anything bad about her. The only thing I know about her is that she's kind of like me for real. She likes playing both sides. She follows these dudes on Instagram because she's a D1 hater. Okay. Okay, because that's how she got like into these people's like private pages and stuff. She's like, oh yeah. I was like, how did you find out this page? She's like, oh, I follow him. I'm like, I thought you didn't like him. And she's like, no, I don't like him. I just like to watch. I'm like, oh well. I'm like, but like, are you like that about me? I don't know. I don't want to think about it too deeply. Whatever the fuck, right? It's very superficial at the end of the day. And so ever since then, I have Will in like 2 of my classes now. And I'm like, I'm like, why the fuck would you tell me this when I have 2 classes with this motherfucker and now I can't look at him the same? I can't look at him the same. It's not like I talk to him, but like just the act of knowing is just too much for me. I wish I was not this nosy motherfucker because now I know too much. Too fucking much. And so it's like, dude, I don't, yeah. It's hard to look at someone the same, and now like I don't even find him attractive anymore. Like all of this is like putting me off of him. I'm like, ew. I'm like, okay, let's take theory number 1 is that he has a girlfriend and he was doing fuck shit with his classmates and whatever the fuck, right? And so that number 1 dirtbag, that's weird. That's very weird. Okay, and so I don't really think I would have that much respect for him if he was doing that, honestly. And I don't believe that theory 1 is like, I don't know if he has a girlfriend. Let me just say, I did do a little bit of snooping on social media, whatever the fuck, and it turned, it's not like, he didn't really post anything about himself. He just posted about his band. And so I respect that. I respect that, keeping your personal life off Instagram and like not really, you know, whatever, posting about your girl and whatnot. And so I didn't find any evidence of him having a girlfriend. Okay. And he only has so many followers. And so it's really easy to kind of go through and like root out like, you know, the bots and whatever the fucking people from my class. And so after doing that, I was not able to determine whether he had a girlfriend or not. And if he did have a girlfriend, then I couldn't find her. Okay, maybe she's off social media, whatever the fuck. And so, theory number 1, I don't believe this to be true. I don't think he has a girlfriend. If he does, I will come back to you guys and update. No, I won't. I probably forget about this. But yeah, so that's theory number 1. Theory number 2, he doesn't have a girlfriend. He was lying to my friend from the letterpress studio. And, he was just chopping up with that girl, which I also think is fairly weird because why the fuck would you do that in a public space? Why would you do that where it's a student lounge, number 1, where there's people around you, and number 2, where everybody can fucking see you? Like, that's just weird to me. It just shows you guys don't have any regard for human decency, right? Like, you could literally go in any other empty classroom. Like, the building that I'm in is like one of the most sparse, like most abandoned fucking buildings on campus, and you decide to just go to the most loaded fucking place you can. Like there are literally like conference rooms that have dust on them because it's never fucking used. You couldn't go into one of those and have your little like tattoo tracing moment. Like I don't know. And like I think this is another really toxic thing about me is because I don't really blame the girl. For some reason I'm putting this like this thing more on the guy, but like at the same time I'm like I feel like I should be more kind of opinionated on the girl too, but at the same time I'm like it's because I know her, and like it's like I don't really want to press any judgment on her because I don't really believe, I don't know, like it's like I'm always a girl's girl, and so therefore it's like I don't believe that she did anything weird, but it is weird if you really think about it, and I think I'm just in denial. Okay, I just think I just have to come around, but like right now I'm in denial and I just don't know what to think about it. But for me, for the dude, it's a no for me. Okay, it's a no for me. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter to him. It doesn't matter to anybody except for me. But it's a no for me. Okay, and for a bit, right? For a bit, I like was kind of interested because he did kind of like the same music that I did. But that's about it. Okay, that's the only thing I kind of liked about him is that he was into the same kind of music I was. That literally is all to it. Okay, all to it. And then after learning that, I'm like, okay, we're done. You have nothing else. Like I don't even like your design that much. Okay, I never say that about anybody, but for me personally, his style of design is just not for me. It's very minimal, very laid back, very kind of whatever. Okay, and I like a good minimal design, but it's just not my cup of tea. But like a lot of people do like his designs, which I respect, but for me personally, it's a no for me, dog. Okay, and so there's really no redemption from him there, you know. And even talking to him, like he's not. Watch me like be forced to talk to him in one of my classes, and I like come back being like, okay, guys, I lied. But I don't imagine that happening because I like to mind my own business. But anyways, yeah. So that's kind of the curse of being a kind of like an all-rounder person. Like you know everybody, you always know. Like I always keep my ear to the ground. I always know something about somebody. And when things come all together like this, it's not only interesting but also a little bit tragic because it's like, what does it say about me? What does it say about me, and what does it say about like what I'm doing with my life? And like I don't even know like what to think about this drama because it's like, well, it's not drama, it's like dead drama by now. I don't think anybody gives a rat's ass about Joshua anymore. He's done news. I don't have him in any of my classes. It's whatever the fuck, right? And then we were also talking about another guy that's friends with Will. Let's just call him Chad. Chad's like this really kind of boring dude. Okay, I'm not. He is kind of boring though. Whenever you talk to him, he has a really flat effect voice. So it's like he talks like this, really slow, like Harry Styles, but if he was American. And it's really hard talking to him. I'll be honest, because I'm used to talking to people who's like very up like me. Like even a lot of my friends are very kind of animated when they talk, and so when I talk to him, it's like a distinct contrast where I'm like, holy shit, like I don't want to talk to you. Like you're a good dude. You seem like a very chill dude, but I just don't want to talk to you. But like there's like girl one was telling me about how like Chad had this thing for a girl in one of her classes. She's like, did you like notice in like our like class last semester that he was kind of like flirting with like this girl? And I was like, oh shit, yeah. I low-key like he always like, okay, Chad was like, is like kind of like a really kind of like standoffish dude, not standoffish, but he's like kind of like more kind of like laid back dude. And so when he would like kind of like pick on that girl that he's like supposedly into, I was like, oh wow, that's kind of tea for real, because it's like it's interesting watching someone who usually doesn't have much of an emotion like show like emotion to someone, you know. It's interesting. And then turns out him, Chad, and that girl that he's into is also in one of my new semester classes. And we sit in the same table and we were talking, and I definitely felt the vibes. I was like, oh wow. And this conversation with girl one happened the day before. So I didn't even, and then so I stepped into the classroom and I was like, what the fuck? And so I mean, we'll just have to see how it goes, but it definitely seemed like Chad was really interested in her. I don't know, but it doesn't seem like she was really interested in him. She was kind of like, I don't know. She's also a very kind of like flat person. She talks very like a really monotone voice, and she doesn't have a lot of expression, but like she's a really good designer and a really kind of like she's very chill as well, and funny as well. So I understand why she's like he's into her, but at the same time it's like listening to them talk sometimes it just feels like they're bored of each other. Because they both have very flat like voices. So when they were like talking to each other, just like, oh, what'd you do today? Oh, I did nothing. Oh, I just walked here. I was like, it's a snooze fest, okay? It's a snooze fest, but whatever. We'll just have to see how the thing goes. I'm just keeping an eye out for real. But yeah, that's basically it. I really have not been doing a lot of learning other than listening to people's dramas and this and that. And I obviously know like a lot more drama, but it's like it hasn't like connected yet, because there's like some drama that like is still like floating in the air. Like there's like just information floating in the air that I'm aware of, but it just has not had the chance to like be connected to something, right? And so perhaps in another day I shall tell you guys more. But yeah, so that is some tales from my college life. I mean, I don't think it was really that interesting. I think it's only interesting because I obviously know these people and I'm more invested in the situation since I live this life. But for you guys, it's probably like, what the fuck are you talking about? Are you mentally demented? But yeah, I mean, if you guys have experience like this too, I mean, I'd be interested to hear. Not really, but no, just kidding. I am. It's really interesting to hear like gossip from like other people, and like I don't know, like I said, I'm a very nosy person, so I do appreciate the entertainment, and I do like talking shit. Well, like I said, it's not like talking shit, but it is kind of like talking shit. Like I'm not like out here be like, oh, like I fucking hate this person, like I think they're a dog shit person, where the fuck. But I'm just like, oh wow, like I don't think I like that person, and I leave it at that. You know, like I don't like go out of my way to harass them, or like, you know, like go out of my way to like show like aggression or whatever the fuck. I just feel like, oh, I don't like them and whatever. And like the thing is like it doesn't even matter to them because I don't talk to them, for one, and two, they don't know about me, and three, it's like whatever the fuck, right? And so there could be people out there that's like talking shit about my work or like talking shit about me, and like what does that do to me? What does that do to me? I don't know. But okay, let's end it off on a good note. Apparently one of my professors talked about me, and I was like, oh my gosh. There's like this girl, today, this girl, she came in, I was like in the lounge room, and she was like, oh my god, one of the professors talked about you. And I was like, oh my god, really? And she was like, I was like, is it good things? She's like, oh yeah, good things. Because it was like that thing that I did, like a portfolio thing I did, and not portfolio, it was like I think it was a portfolio, and he like really liked it apparently, and he brought it up during class, and she just was like, oh yeah, he complimented your work and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And so yeah, I mean, it's not always bad news, so I'm glad that I got something good out of it. But yeah, that's basically all I have to say. I hope this was entertaining. It's not like I have nothing to talk about, but it's like it's the only thing that's been on my mind recently, and I think it's a little bit humorous. You know, I think it's a little bit humorous, but I'm sure next week I'll like forget about it and like go into the next thing. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. Um, is that all I gotta say? Yeah, I'm just yeah. Okay, I gotta go take a shower now and go to bed because I have to hang out with a friend tomorrow very early. We're doing assignments and we're going to a cafe and chilling and then going to the mall because I have spendable money now. I don't think I want to spend a lot of money though because I don't know. I don't like the idea of like spending all of my money in one place. So we're gonna see. I just want to smell some perfumes and oh my god, you guys. I might have to do a perfume update pretty soon because I have been getting like a little bit more, not too much. And I just want to show it off. But I am gonna bite my tongue until the end of 2024, and we'll see where that takes me. But I don't know. I'm just really excited to show you guys what I have cooking. But I'm not like impulsively like buying things, okay? I'm always making sure that I'm like buying things at the reasonable price and making sure that I genuinely want it and doing research, okay? I'm not like just flippantly buying things. Like, could you imagine if I showed my fucking dresser and there's like a whole shelf of like perfumes? Don't worry, guys. If I have more than like 15 by the end of the year, I think I'll be set. I think 15 is like my max. I'm not counting samples though, because those are free, technically. But like anything more than 15, I think will put me in the ditch and I'll have to like empty like at least 2 or 3 before collecting more because 15 is like a lot for anybody to have in terms of fragrances. Okay. And so yeah, that's the plan for this week. And yeah, so hopefully I will come back with you guys for another video, something a little bit more interesting. Hopefully this was something you guys like to talk. I mean, it's some tea in it. It's some tea. Okay, for me, I find it tea. I find it interesting. I find it really, but for you guys, it's whatever the fuck. But I mean, if you guys made it this far, thank you. And if you guys have any other, gossipy things, feel free to leave in the comments because, I'm always nosy. I'm always nosy. I'm always like looking for some entertainment but don't tell me anything like super like deep about you. Like don't tell me about like any like childhood abuse you've had or something like that. I don't think I want that. But like something goofy, something silly, something like not too traumatizing, like something that's like unserious but serious. Okay. Okay, that's all I gotta say on that. I'm gonna log off now, like I said, and then that's all. All right. Kisses.